Hey there, my friends. Elizabeth Stitt here with Joyful Parenting Coaching. Today we're talking about connection without capitulation. You've heard of correct or connect before you correct, right? And you may have wondered what that meant or why people were asking you to do that. Here's the reason. When we feel disconnected, we are in a fight, flight, or freeze mode. We are fearful. We are feeling insecure. Nobody learns anything when they are in that state. So the purpose of the connection is to return us to a state where we can be open to hearing the messages that people might have to give us. But people's fear about connection before correction is that children won't learn their lesson. That, well, don't we have to correct them? How will they learn? So if you just believe 100% in your heart, if you'll just accept this as a really well-researched idea, that when our defenses are up, when we are in flight, fight, or freeze mode, we are not capable of learning. So it makes no sense to start correcting somebody when they're still in this mode. It's a futile exercise. So why do it? So then everyone says, okay, I need to connect. I want to be warm and emotionally present. And then the part that we forget, and this is a really important part of gentle parenting because it's the part that people miss about gentle parenting, and that's while still holding firm limits. We connect, we soothe, we help kids calm down and come back grounded into their bodies. And then we still hold a limit on whatever it was that we were talking about or whatever it was that we were going to do. So let's take an example. Your child needs to, they were supposed to be getting ready for school, and instead they have found something to play with, and now they're playing with that. Okay, so correction would say, hey, stop playing, get going, we need to get out the door. Imagine this from your child's point of view. Your child is feeling fully absorbed in the play of the moment. And after all, play is the work of childhood, right? That's actually what they're supposed to do. All the other stuff, like getting dressed and getting your lunchbox and putting it in your backpack, that's not on the front of their brain. So when you come in and you correct and you do it with a tone that is critical, it's criticizing them. Instead of going like, oh yeah, okay, I need to go pack my backpack, they seize up. And if they're a fight kid, they get defensive and they dig in and they're like, no, I'm going to keep playing and I'm going to ignore you. If they're a freeze kid, they just freeze. They don't take any action. If they're a flight kid, they may go back up into their imagination, or they may run away, or they may do something to get away from your sharp tone and critical presence. Now, to connect doesn't take that much, right? We come in, we put our arm around them, we tousle their hair. We acknowledge what they're doing. Like, hey, dude, looks like you're really having fun with your Matchbox cars. And I get it. Matchbox box cars are so much fun. And you know what? We got to leave it till later. I know it's hard, but right now, what needs to happen? And, you've connected, you've been warm, you've been empathetic, And that question right now, what needs to happen is their signal for them to go like, oh yeah, I need to get my backpack. I need to put my lunchbox in my backpack. So maybe they make the shift because now they feel warm and connected to you. Maybe they don't make the shift because they were so fully absorbed in their play, or because it's so hard to transition to school. There's so much anxiety around it. So this is where holding the firm limit comes in, right? We come in and we put our hand over whatever it is they're doing. Like, you know what? We can leave these here for when you come home, if that's okay with you. Or, you know what? These have to go back in the box. They will be here when you get home. So, and now I use a redirect. And the redirect might be something like, do you want to put in red cars first, blue cars first? Do you want to do this by yourself, or do you want some help from mom or dad? Right? A little bit of choice that empowers them. It helps them go into action. In other words, I'm not going to yell at my kid and then walk out the room. I'm not going to escalate my anger, right? I'm not going to start heaping other stuff. You never listen to me. You always make us late. Why would I do that? All that does is to build more barriers. If the barriers are in place, a child is so much less likely to move into action. Or if they do move into action, it's going to build up resentment. And they're going to go to school resentful and angry. And that's not going to set them up for learning at school. So we come in with the empathy, we come in with the connection, with the warmth, with the acknowledgement that what they're doing is fun. Then we help them transition, maybe with an A/B choice. Maybe, if it's really bad and they're really going, I don't want to do it, right? I might have to say, depending on the age of my child, I might have to say something like, hey, I cannot afford to let us be late today. You need to be to school on time and I need to be work on time. So right now you have a choice. Put the cars away, go get your lunchbox, or after school, we are going to write out a morning routine. We're going to practice cleaning up. We're going to practice having a conversation about why it's stressful to be late. And we'll do all that before we stop at the park, before I take you to your soccer practice, before something else, right? So that's the little bit of the consequence. And that's still connection because I'm doing it in a soft and gentle way. It's not angry. It's not a threat. It's just like, hey, we need to find a solution for this. We're going to see what we can do. And we're going to do that later on. So this is not being permissive. Permissive would be letting them play with the cars until the last minute and then either letting them be late to school or scooping them up and forcing them into their car seat or just begging, pleading, bribing to get them into the car seat, but never correcting and never making a change for the next time. That's being permissive, right? So please don't confuse gentle parenting with permissive. It's really about connecting while holding that firm limit, can't talk today, while holding that firm limit. Connection without capitulation. Maybe you have a start action. In the case of playing with the cars, that's a stop action. The start action can be something like you need them to stop playing video games and to set the table for dinner. We're going to come in the same way. We're not going to start with, hey, it's your turn to set the table for dinner. Hurry up. Turn that off and come in right now and set that table. No. We're going to come in. Maybe we're going to sit next to them. We're going to watch for a moment what you're doing. If we see that they're about to end a game or win a game, maybe we wait that 30 seconds, that 60 seconds to let them come to a natural stopping place. If you can't tell what a natural stopping place is, then again, your hand on their knee or their shoulder or your arm around them that says, hey, I'm really sorry to interrupt you. And at the same time, it's that time. We got to get ready for dinner. So please, can you turn off the machine, or do you need some help with that? And if you need some help with that, then maybe I need to turn off the machine for you. Maybe your kid is ignoring you and they keep playing. And then very gently you say, sweetheart, we've talked about this. So right now you have a choice. You can shut the machine down, or I'm going to take it from you and I'm going to shut it down. Now, when we actually go to remove the device, we do it very gently. We go, I know this is hard. And we push the power and we let the power come off. And then before we say, all right, now it's time to go set the table for dinner, we might offer a little bit more comfort. I know it's so hard. Video games are really hard to walk away with. And you're so mad at me right now. I get it. All right, come with me. We'll set the table. Are you going to use the blue mats or the red mats? Or are we eating in the kitchen or the dining room? Right? So I redirect to something empowering where the child then has some choice. Where's another place where we might have connection without capitulation? Let's say you've got a teenager and you've agreed that they're going to be home by 10:30 and it is now 10:45. And of course, what's so hard between 10:30 and 10:45 is that not only are we annoyed that they haven't kept their word, but we're also scared because they've been out on the road, they've been driving, they've been walking home, something's been happened. And we're resentful that they haven't communicated to us and that they're putting us in this position of feeling scared. So even though they're a teenager, can't we just get mad at them now? Do we still have to connect before we correct or before we hold the standard? Yeah, we do. Because your teenager's prefrontal cortex is under construction. They are not fully mature yet. And by the way, there is nothing wrong with connecting with anybody, your spouse, your business partner, your clients. Before you could think about when a manager gives review, and you remember the old sandwich idea, like, okay, I'm going to give you a compliment. I'm going to give you a correction, room for improvement. And I'm going to give you another compliment. There's a reason for that. And it's the same reason as this. It's that we want to soothe people first. And we want to come in as a reasonable person. Then we still want to make our point. We want to hold our limit. We want to find a solution. We want to follow through on what we said we were going to follow through. But then we want to make it okay again. Like once you've connected, no harm, no foul. Once they have done whatever they need to do, that cleans the slate. It's not like I'm going to build resentment against you, right? Okay, so kid comes in, it's 10:45, it's not 10:30. Hey, Johnny, it's 10:45. You said 10:30, what happened? Notice the tone. It's light. There's curiosity. It's not, what happened? Why are you 15 minutes late? This is not acceptable. Right? I'm not being like a machine gun attacking them as soon as they miss. 10:45. What happened? And who knows, right? You let them give their excuse. And maybe it's a really good excuse. And it will be something which is totally not in their control. Not even enough in their control that they could text you. But a lot of times it's going to be something that was kind of in their control. And they made a choice. And So you might be something like, well, I hear you. I hear you saying that, you were talking to Ed and Ed was upset and you really wanted to be there and to comfort him. And at the same time, I've been worried sick, concerned for the last 15 minutes, and that does not feel good to me. So what could you have done? I mean, with a teenager, I'm never going to say what you should have done. I can always say what could you have done to make 15 minutes late feel really different for me? And hopefully they're going to say, I could have texted you. I could have called you. But a lot of times they just, I got distracted. That's what they're going to say, right? I got distracted. I got bored. We were listening to a song. We just wanted to finish the one song. We wanted to do something. And those kind of fall under the category of not feeling really okay to me. And so I'm going to, before I set the curfew up, I'm already going to have let my child know. All right, well, you made that choice. And remember when we talked about you coming home at 10:30, you agreed that if you weren't home by 10:30, that the consequence was that you were going to make amends with me for worrying me for 15 minutes by helping me out on Saturday morning with chores. So I'm going to be going to the store at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning. You don't have to be in a happy mood, but I do need your body there so that you can help me get the shopping done more quickly. All right. Do you see how in that instance where I didn't have control when my child walked in the room, I still held a limit that I had agreed to ahead of time. If you're late without a really good reason, you're going to make it up to me by helping me on Saturday morning. Depending on your child, I might even have had that in writing. Like if you have a child who's really pushing back and really trying to find the exit, I might have had that in writing. The relationship has been maintained. I have been respectful. I'm also adding a little bit of a pinch here, right? Just a little tension here by having the teen come with me and help me on Saturday morning. Now, my rule for consequences is the lowest effective dose. So you don't want to be high-handed and hot and heavy with your kid. You do want to shift behavior because it's disrespectful and not fair to you if your child keeps coming in late all the time. And so, if coming with me on Saturday morning doesn't mean that the number of times my child is late is pretty far and few between, I might up the ante. And I might say something like, if you can't come home late, I'm not going to be able to let you borrow the car. So this is 3 times you've been late now in the last month. That's too often. The next time you're late, I'm going to restrict the car for a week. And then we'll try again after that. Okay, so connection without capitulation. Always connection. Don't worry about being warm and emotionally present, about empathizing, even allowing your child the meltdown or the grumpiness in the teenager. You still follow through. What's going to help you follow through is a skill I call anticipation. And that's really clarity about how are we going to handle this if you don't meet your agreement. It also includes meeting agreements. All right. If you have any questions about what we've got going on here, please put them in the comments below. Please like and subscribe. Please tell your friends. Hope you're having a great summer and that I'll see you next week.